Hey everyone, Hayk here, and welcome to the Power of Mindset podcast. I've got an episode I wanted to talk to you guys about some of the things that have been coming up a lot. Recently we've been bringing a lot of meetings back since COVID. A lot of them were shut down, so now we're getting around people more. Virtually, it's been difficult to connect with some of the local business owners and some of the people I've been working with years. So now I'm getting around a lot of them, and during these larger meetings where you have a couple of hundred of these business owners, you hear a lot more rumors, as in what's going on through mind of a business owner, an entrepreneur. Generally, a lot of people are actually fear driven now. If you think about what's going on with the economy, right? And a saying goes something like this, that all financial decisions are made between 2 points of life, between fear and greed, right? And the last 10 years, last 14 years to be exact, of the market has been very greed driven, as in people are investing more than they should. They're buying houses over asking price. They're overpaying for cars. They're overpaying for things just because everybody's doing it. And greed gets to a point where it inflates the market so much, well, followed by recession. Now we're in the fear market, as in now people are hanging on to their money. They're saving cash. They're not trusting the stock market. So we're entering this greed market. I'm noticing a lot of people are kind of stepping back with the expenses and making certain decisions under these temporary circumstances. And and here's a message I want to share. And I've shared this story many times before. And this is the hot dog stand story. And I think it's very appropriate to remind yourself of this story moving forward, as far as what decisions you will be making for your business, what decisions you'll be making for your organization, if you're a manager, if you're a leader, if you're a business owner. The story goes something like this. There's a very good quality hot dog stand led by this older gentleman in downtown of the city, and he's got the best hot dog, and people always line up to get his hot dog, and there's always a long line. And his son recently graduates from business school, comes to his father and says, "Dad, you got this long line, why don't we open up another hot dog stand on the other corner of the block, and you can kind of split the line and we can double the sales?" And the father's like, sure, why not? Since his focus has been deliver the best quality meat, best quality salt, best quality pepper, casing, etc., etc. So they just took the same process of the type of the hot dog they make. They put another stand out there. They hired an employee. Soon, third, fourth, within time, they had 50 hot dog stands and business was booming. And then one day, son comes to his father and says, "Dad, we need to talk." He's like, "What's going on?" He goes, "Recession hit. We need to figure something out with the business." So the father's like, "Well, what's recession?" He's like, I didn't go to school. Like, what does it mean? Explain this to me. And the son uses this, um, high vocabulary description of what recession means, as far as decisions financially that need to be made to make sure you survive the recession. It's like, "Dad, we got to cut back on expenses." And father's like, "Well, how do we cut back on expenses?" He goes, "Well, instead of buying this high quality meat from that butcher, why don't we buy, a little bit of a less quality meat? Instead of buying this, high quality salt and pepper, why don't we buy it in bulk from Costco, whatever?" And they start making these decisions to make the product worse. Slowly but surely, they close one location down. They fire this team member. They lay off that one. And all of a sudden, within time, they're back to having one hot dog stand. And the father looks at his son and says, "Son, you're right. We are in the recession." Where am I going with the story? I think a lot of people right now, as we're entering this fear market, the greed's ended and we're entering a fear market, the bear market, right? There's the bull market, and there's the bear market. Bear market's at the bottom of things, right? So what decisions do we make? And sometimes the noise of recession impacts us more than actual recession itself. Like in the story of this hot dog stand, well, what caused recession? If he would have kept doing a good job and still making the quality product and still creating jobs in the community, still serving people, would he have gone back down to the one hot dog stand? I think the answer is no. So in many cases, people create their own recession. We create our own recession. Yes, there's a lot of things that have been directly impacted. Directly. Like, I know house people are not refinancing their houses. Interest rates went from below 3 to another 7.5%, 8%. So it has directly impacted some loan officers, some banks. But in reality, when you look at a small business, like I'm specifically in the insurance business, what is this impacting me directly? I can tell you nothing. But I'm seeing a lot of my peers, and not just in the insurance world, but other small businesses becoming fear driven, and they're almost whatever was working for them a year and a half ago, they're going to stop. As in, I'm going to stop marketing, stop hiring. I'm going to stop interviewing people. I will maybe stop having these kind of incentives for my team. which directly seems like, oh, that's going to bring you more money in my pocket. They're tapping into the areas of the business where they shouldn't to keep more money to themselves. And eventually the gross revenue shrinks and percentage kept goes down with time, even though immediately that's a small pay raise. So here are some of the thoughts. And I wrote these down because I have a list, want to kind of go over this with you, because from the outside world, if you have a good running business, right, everything looks smooth, but there's a lot happening. And one of the things right now, there's this fear, this image of what should change. But reality is, in many cases, there's a lot of things you shouldn't change. It is a temporary moment. But the question is, has it directly impacted your business? Has it directly impacted your organization? Has it directly impacted your health? I mean, some people are downgrading gym memberships. It's like, but you don't realize the value of you continuously training. In many cases, people train for the mental, not for the physical. Even though physically you get in better shape, it's great to be able to be physically fit to take on the challenges that this fear market is going to bring. And I've shared this with a group at a meeting when I was speaking, and I mentioned that every book I've ever read that talked about creating wealth always talked about that the wealth is not created at the peak of the market. It's created at the bottom, during recession, during the crisis. Because at that time, a lot of things are on sale, right? Stocks are on sale, real estate's on sale, positivity is on sale. We don't put a value to that. Hiring is on sale. Marketing is on sale. Staying engaged is on sale because nobody's doing it. Talked to my mentor like a year ago. Remember, we're talking about the market, right? Stocks were booming. There's the Tesla, there's the Microsoft, there's the, all these stocks are doing well. And he's much older than me, much more experienced in the market. And I said, when do you get out of the market? And he's saying, is like, when the towel boy at the gym has no knowledge about the market, but they're hearing all this greed noise, right? When they're investing, probably the right time for you to get out. So it's popular. And right now, when things are down, and I can tell you for sure, anybody listening to this message, your business has most likely been your best investment. If I look at my gross revenue over the last 5 or 10 years, there's nothing that has done what my business has done for me. Now, I do know also the fact that a lot of wealth is created during the low market. What kind of decision should I make towards the business moving forward? Question is, where am I going to be in 5 years? It will be greatly dictated by the decisions I'm making today. And as a matter of fact, how things are on sale at this point, should I go more in or should I lay off? Now, if the recession didn't hit, or whatever so-called recession we're in right now, things didn't slow down, we didn't go into this from greed to fear market, I would have probably continued doing what we're doing a year ago. But knowing the fact that people are getting negative, people are laying people off, people are quitting marketing, I'm actually going to put more back into my business because I know that will be 5x the results 5 years from now. But it's hard to do it now because it's fear driven. A lot of people are afraid. So, courage is on sale. And here's some items to kind of keep an eye out for as far as what a lot of people stop doing when a temporary circumstance like fear market hits. A lot of people first one is they stop hiring. And I can tell you this, my best talent has come to me when I wasn't looking. So I've learned to always look. So one of my best advices I've given to people is not necessarily just make this decision during fear times now that people are facing. It's more like never stop hiring. It's a good time to stop hiring if you're looking to make decisions, but don't. This is the time where you're going to find your rock star. Hire, keep going. A lot of people stop marketing. Worst way to give yourself a pay raise is by laying people off in your business and stop marketing. Yes, immediate pay raise in your pocket, long-term pay cut, not just for the business, but for the people you have who might eventually leave you. The cost of losing talent is 6 to 7 figures. So really think about what kind of hiring methods can you continue doing? What kind of marketing can you continue doing? In reality, right now, if you had more money to put back in the business, this is when you invest in your own stock, as in invest in your own business. Because when you invest in other companies, you're literally hoping for them to continuously market products, sell products, create products, hire, fire, have accountability meetings, continue marketing for the company gross revenue to go up by 10%. So your stock can go up by 10%. Well, in reality, for every 10% you might make in the market, you can actually do 100 to 200 within your business. So really think smart moving forward as we're entering the bear market. So don't stop marketing. A lot of people actually stop having accountability meetings with their teams. Oh, it's time to relax. I can tell you pain of discipline weighs much less than pain of regret. One of the greatest assets in my business has been continuous meetings. Continuous meetings, as in not like every day, just useless. No, we have a accountability meeting every week. Everybody commits to their numbers. Week later, we talk about, did you hit your numbers? Yes, congrats. Share what went well. No, you didn't hit your numbers. Well, can you tell us what you'll do different for next week? Right? Those, you never walk out feeling like the life has changed, but life does change when you keep those meetings consistent, just like brushing your teeth. People stop promoting leadership, as in they stop trying to teach their teams to be leaders. And one of the best quotes I've heard about leadership within the business is, when somebody comes into your business and they can't tell who's the leader, oh, you've promoted some good leadership. As in, this person's hyping everybody up about sales. This person's giving them everybody high five about what they're doing well. And this person's talking about what's not going well. How can we improve? So continuously giving people power to help each other and lead each other and push each other. And that's a piece we have going on in the office really well. A lot of my team members do the things that leaders usually do. They're not waiting for me to slap this on their title. People stop reading books. I can't tell you how many people I've known over the years when they're, I've stopped doing self-help. I just, it worked for a while, so I stopped. Well, if you don't continuously grow, you want your business to grow. You want your teams to grow. You want the paycheck to grow. You want the gross revenue to grow. Why are you stopping to your growth? Like, why did you stop your growth? Because this growth might happen and there's this trajectory, right? You grow along the side, like you track what you are. And when you stop bringing in value, things might outgrow you, as in your talent might leave and never come back because they don't feel like they're part of something that's making them better. So if your team is used to you growing, that's probably the reason why they're with you. And when you stop, I have seen people have talent walk out on them. Why? Because they didn't feel relevant. They didn't feel like they relate. They didn't feel like they were growing. And if somebody becomes too good for the culture you're creating, as in like they're continuously growing, they're reading, they're uncomfortable, and you're not, they just might go find a different leader that will lead them better, because people rarely quit organizations. They quit the leader. So always read books, listen to podcasts, read scriptures, whatever it is that makes you better as far as sharing ideas and learning yourself. People stop exercising. That's a big one for me because, again, I don't necessarily exercise for the physical. For me, it's important to look presentable, to put on a suit and t-shirt and go to the beach. Yes, that's important, but how often do you do that? In reality, you're always in your head. Like 98%, whatever the statistics are, probably made up, but when I say 98% of your suffering is in your head, but in reality, when you're physically strong, you're mentally better, right? So when you stop exercising, that impacts everything. So in many cases, exercise for the mental, not for the physical, even though they both matter. But in reality, I do it for the mental. I encourage everybody, when things get tough, you exercise more. Other things that people do during the bear markets that they shouldn't is they increase the percentage of take-home money. I think I mentioned a little bit about stop hiring, stop firing, stop marketing. So essentially, let's say the formula is, if you want a business to really grow, 2/3 has to go back in. Whether they're deciding, you know what, I'm going to start taking them 60%. I need myself to give myself a pay raise. Well, if you want to go from making 100,000 to 200,000, well, if your gross revenue is 300, you're putting 2/3 in, you're making 100. Don't magically start taking 200 home and only putting 100 back in the business. You just cut the revenue of investing by half. So grow the gross to 600,000 so you can take 200,000, so on and so forth. And that math can be lots of more zeros and lots less zeros, but that is the formula. Do not take home more than the third. When you do, it gets, maybe put 60% back in. But I have seen so many businesses fail when they decided to give themselves a pay raise at the cost of payroll, the cost of marketing, at the cost of outings, at the cost of a good aggressive commission structure towards salespeople. Because the ultimate accountability for people to do well within your sales organization is an ultimate pay structure. Trust me, people are money driven. They might not be money hungry, but even if they're not, they have parents who might need money. The truth is, your team might even tell you, money's not important to me. Hayk, I just want to make a difference. But how much would extra 1,000, 2,000, 3,000 a month do a month for you? That's a zip code of where you can live. That's going from the car, I have to buy this car, to now I want to buy this one. you know what, my parents don't do that well. Me sending extra grand a month to, Russia, Ukraine, Mexico, whatever your parents live, right? So if anybody says money's not important to them, like, you need to really sit down and have this conversation where it's not important to you. Find somebody who is, make more and give it to them. I personally, it's one of my driving factors of why money is important, to help others make a difference and create better jobs in the community. People become negative with the business and economy, right? When the economy goes down, they start focusing and fixating on the government rules that are, suppressing you, the economy, you're not doing so well on your real estate's dying off, your stocks are not doing well. They bring this negative economical complaints into the office, and they almost allow their teams to be okay to complain about their crap. You complain, they complain, you track what you are, all of a sudden everybody's complaining, and the culture changes. And people start walking out on you wondering why. And some of them leave you for a less paying jobs. They take pay cuts to leave. Why? Because in reality, a lot of people want to come to work and feel good about themselves. Eventually, paycheck becomes secondary why people work long term. So bringing negativity into the office as a leader is one of the worst investments you can do. So stop thinking about, oh, but I'm putting a lot of money back in the business and I have this aggressive pay structure. That's part of it. The other part of it, like, what do you tolerate? Do you allow curse words? Yes, sometimes I hear the F-bomb in the office. I'm fairly unaccepting of it, but I try to keep the atmosphere positive and I don't bring negativity into the office. From the outside world, it looks like I have zero problems. My team thinks I don't have any problems, but when we start talking about it, when they're complaining, I share a few of mine. They're like, yeah, you hide it well, but as a leader, it's my job. So I can kind of show you how you should be too. That is a responsibility, one of many responsibilities a leader has within their business. So don't become negative. Don't listen to your negative friends who are complaining about the business. I have so many friends who just nag about the insurance business. You know what? But this is what pays my bills. I hear them, but I don't listen to what they say. People lose hope. As in, like, I am stuck in this dark place. I can't tell you the power of hope, how important it is to be hopeful. I remember when we just came to America, it was 7-year separation from a mom, a brother, and sister. We were homeless, no food, and hope kept me going. And hope is what, like, in my mind, almost gave me this post-traumatic stress disorder. Is like, one day I'm going to prove everybody that they're wrong. I'm going to make it. I'm hopeful, right? And I think that's the difference between people using the story, because we all have a story, to either victimize yourself or to become a winner, right? That story can either fuel your fire, making it bigger, or that story you can actually be a victim about it and let it put your flames out like water. So the truth to having hope is it helps you take your pain and turn it into fuel. Be hopeful. People stop counting their blessings. Yeah. When you focus on all the bad, you have less things to be thankful for. You always focus on your blessings no matter what. Count them. Come to the office one day if you're feeling negative. 10-minute huddle. Everybody gets to count 2 blessings they have and then start your day. That's a big one. That is a big one. I notice when there's too many complaints in the office, I just have people count their blessings. Now they're doing it to each other. Team introduced this thing on our Friday morning huddle. It's like, tell everybody, say what is one highlight of the week for you. Why? Because they got used to, oh, things are getting negative. People are complaining. Let's hear a positive message, right? So you notice your leaders start pushing those kind of things as you do it enough times. A lot of leaders stop getting in front of their teams. They don't have any ideas or challenges. But we continuously need to do that, because if you don't have ideas, a lot of people start gossiping and complaining. So just always bring new ideas and new challenges. Always fix problems, because the key 3 ingredients to success is look for patterns, follow patterns, create patterns, right? So look for ideas that can challenge the team and start following that new challenge, and then create a game or some kind of an outing or a fun idea around it, which we do a lot of in the office. People, again, another item is pretty similar to what I just talked about. They allow complaining more and they allow excuses more versus cutting that off. Yes, let people vent. As soon as they rant and make excuses, cut them off. Leaders stop having one-on-ones. Again, they're difficult. Almost seems like why we can just go pick up the phone call more or do meetings more. But the one-on-one with your leaders, to take them out for a walk and talk about the issues, the gossip, the problems, don't stop. I know a lot of people who did it, and after a while things got good. I don't have a need. I'm not that good at it. I don't have passion for one-on-ones. Great. But that's what was working, and don't stop just because it worked so well. And they stopped. No immediate effect on the business. no immediate effect on the people, eventually starts having effect on the business and the people, and it becomes personal, and you take it home and it's complaints. So in reality, you can say it's business, but it's very personal. If business does well, your personal life does well, and vice versa. So you care enough about your personal life, continue doing certain things within an organization to continue the momentum you have. Do not stop one-on-ones with your leaders. They stop looking for patterns from customers. Look for patterns, follow patterns, create patterns. Always keep your team accountable to ask the question, did you benefit from what I did for you? What did you benefit from? How can we get better? When you hear patterns from customers, you have a meeting, you mold your business around your clients. And that's the only way to actually find out what does your market demographic need. It might be speed, it might be more value, it might be more, you guys pick up the call. I hate leaving you voicemails, hire a voicemail service. So we hear enough of that feedback, we mold. And that's the thing I talk about other businesses from other states. I'm like, well, this is my system, but here it is. But please mold the system around what your customer asks. Because 20 miles down the road, you can have a different type of clientele as far as what kind of jobs they have. Is it more agricultural? Is it more tech? What is it? So you can only find out by asking clients and listening to them. So look for patterns, follow patterns, create patterns. They stop getting around people who inspire and push them, right? We form this bias circle of people that we're the most successful. We feel great about ourselves with our, fancy advice. And we don't want to be around people who make us feel uncomfortable to give us advice and to do better than us. So sometimes we get around people that make us comfortable. And, they say if you're like the fastest, if you're the strongest wolf in the pack, it's only a matter of time until you become like rest of your pack. So get in the pack that you're not the strongest or the fastest, because they'll make you better. Don't stop. They stop investing in people, as in they don't talk about pay raises. They don't talk about increased commission structures. They don't talk about the future of money and them being part of your business. That's a piece that needs to be continuously going. And then the last one I wrote down here this is a simple one. They just give up. As in, it's time. It's economy showing me a lot of people are retiring and they're done. So I'm done. As in the Hotdog stand story is, let's start making decisions to give up. In reality, you forced to create your own recession. Just think about this. As we are entering recession, we're questionably in recession. Inflation is over the roof. Interest rates are the highest they've been in over a decade. A lot has changed. There's a lot of negativity. People are complaining about economy. Elections are coming. There's so many different things to complain about. Post-COVID stress. People have some kind of PTSD because of it. Good time to give up. Wrong time to give up. Like I mentioned, this is the time where if it didn't directly impact you, be very careful, because you can indirectly start making decisions thinking that I'm going to prevent this from happening. So let me do these things. And it will impact you. And the truth is, we create our own pain and suffering ourselves. 98% of it is in our head. And most of our recession, reality of what we form, where our families are going to be in the next 3 to 4 years, where our business will be in the next couple of years, is the decisions we make, not what the economy is doing to our business. So invest, get around people who make you uncomfortable, really watch and see, are you being impacted by what's happening around you? And the truth is, your tight circle is your life, not what's happening out in the world. Assess where you are closely, and do not make decisions based on the noise. Make decision based on the customer, what your spouse is saying, what your team is saying, and really, really form a process around people that are closest to you, not the ones who are causing the noise on social media and the news. Hopefully that was a useful message to you guys. Cheers, and till next time.